I was in college when this happened. Money was tight, and instead of spending over $100 on a textbook from the school bookstore, I thought I could get it cheaper online. A friend of mine had bragged about finding hidden markets where people sold everything from electronics to rare books for a fraction of the price. I was skeptical, but one night he sat me down in his dorm, dim lights and all, and showed me how to access it. It didn't feel real. The pages loaded with a kind of clunky slowness, and the listings looked like something off eBay. Except half the sellers didn't even bother hiding their shady side businesses. Guns, fake IDs, pills with no labels, boxes of mystery contents, and sprinkled between those, totally normal things, like phone chargers, sneakers, and to my surprise, textbooks. Still, I found the exact one I needed, and it was only $15. The seller had good reviews, though the usernames reviewing it were strange, just long strings of numbers and symbols. I told myself it didn't matter, typed in the order, and hit send. A week later, I got a package in the mail. It was smaller than I expected, light enough that it didn't even feel like a book was inside. The label had my name, but no return address. My roommate laughed, saying maybe I'd been scammed. When I opened it, there was no textbook, just a padded envelope, wrapped tightly in black electrical tape. My stomach knotted. Inside was a single USB drive. The metal casing was dented, and when I turned it in the light, I saw what looked like smudges. Dark red, dried stains, the kind that made me think of old blood. I should have thrown it away right then, but curiosity got the better of me. I plugged it into my laptop, and at first nothing happened. Just a single empty folder named Watch. Inside were about a dozen video files, each one labeled with dates spanning over the last year. The first few were grainy, black and white security camera footage. Random street corners, gas stations, stairwells. I felt uneasy, but kept clicking through. Then the footage changed. The later videos showed bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens, ordinary people eating, brushing their teeth, tucking their kids into bed, clearly unaware they were being recorded. It was my dorm room. The camera angle was from outside my window, looking directly in. The timestamp was from just a week before. I froze. My mouth went dry. It was a clear shot of me, sitting at my desk, hunched over my laptop, the same laptop I was using right then. I slammed the lid shut so hard it rattled the table. My hands were shaking as I yanked the USB out and threw it straight into the trash. That night, I didn't sleep. Every time I turned toward the window, I imagined someone standing out there in the dark, holding a camera. Every rustle of leaves, every creak of the dorm walls made my skin crawl. The next morning, I moved my bed against the farthest wall and taped paper over the glass. But even then, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd invited something into my life the second I plugged that drive in. To this day, I don't know if the footage was real or if it was some sick trick. But I transferred to a different dorm the following semester. I never ordered from the deep web again. Back when I was freelancing as a programmer, I spent way too much time online. Most nights, I was hopping between job boards, Discord servers, and the kinds of forums people don't talk about in public. It was a routine: code during the day, browse at night, then crash around 3 a.m. But one night, while scrolling through an obscure board, I got a private message with a single link and a line of text. "You've been chosen. Join the council." It sounded ridiculous. Scammy, cult-like nonsense. I almost ignored it. But the sender's profile had been around for years with thousands of posts and solid credibility. The link itself didn't trigger any malware alerts either, which made me even more curious. Against my better judgment, I clicked it. The page that opened was pitch black, with nothing but a blinking cursor and the word "Ready." I hesitated, then typed "Yes." Immediately, the screen shifted into what looked like a puzzle. Strings of numbers, riddles, and distorted images. It reminded me of those internet mystery hunts, like Cicada 3301. I figured it was just another ARG, so I started playing along. Every time I solved something, a new page unlocked with another puzzle. At first, it was exciting. Ciphers, logic problems, code snippets, stuff I could actually sink my teeth into. But by the fourth or fifth puzzle, things started feeling wrong. One question asked, "The street name where you first lived." Another required unscrambling a cipher. When I cracked it, the solution was my mother's maiden name. Information no random website should have. At first, I thought maybe my machine was compromised, that it was just pulling answers from my files. But when I checked, there was no indication of spyware. The site didn't seem to be accessing my system at all. And then came the last page. This one didn't have a puzzle, just a single file to download, a video. I told myself I wouldn't click it, but I did. The footage was shaky, filmed from behind a man walking down a dim apartment hallway. The camera followed him down a flight of stairs, then stopped at a front door. Slowly, the view zoomed in on the apartment number. It was my building, my floor, my door. My chest tightened. I yanked the Ethernet cable out of my computer so hard I nearly cracked the port. The screen froze on the last frame, that familiar number staring back at me. When I finally had the courage to check again the next morning, the site was gone. The link was dead, like it had never existed. I don't know who sent it or how they had that footage, but sometimes when I walk down my hallway late at night, I can't shake the feeling that someone else is there, just out of view, still playing a game I never agreed to join. Everyone's heard the rumors about red rooms, supposed live streams on the deep web where people pay to watch torture and worse. Most people say they're an urban legend, and for the longest time, I believed that too. Until one night, I was home alone, bored out of my mind, just clicking around out of curiosity. I came across a site that looked like a countdown timer. The title bar just said, "Room will open soon." I thought it was a joke, some dumb, creepypasta-style bait site. But something about it kept me staring at the screen as the timer ticked down second by second. I remember leaning closer, almost holding my breath without realizing it. When it hit 0, the page refreshed into a live stream window. At first, it was just static. Then a video feed came on. It wasn't what I expected. No people, no dark rooms. Just a shaky camera filming a city skyline at night. I almost laughed, thinking it was some prank. Then the camera angle changed, It was still outside, but lower, closer. It showed a neighborhood street. Another cut, this time even closer. A row of houses I recognized. My street. The feed zoomed in slowly on one of the houses. My house. I slammed my laptop shut and yanked the power cord out so hard it sparked. My heart was pounding so loud it hurt, and I could feel sweat dripping down my neck. I sat in the dark, straining my ears, listening for footsteps outside, convinced someone was out there watching me. For hours, I didn't move. I didn't even look at my blinds, terrified that if I peeked, someone would be looking back. The next day, when I finally worked up the courage to check the site again, it was gone. No countdown, no video, not even a trace in my browser history. I never told anyone, because honestly, I don't know what I saw. Maybe it was some kind of elaborate IP trick, pulling random street feeds to scare whoever logged in. Or maybe it was real. All I know is, when people ask if red rooms are just a myth, I can't give them an answer. Because that night, I wasn't a viewer. I was the one on camera.